It's recording.
Okay, sorry. This is PRpHD.
And this is Mudita art here. And we're checking out Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania. It's a little confusing. Even though it's Ant-Man 3.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that watching it. I was like, where was the whole title? I don't even know the whole title of the thing, and I'm reviewing it,
Yeah, it's Ant-Man 3.
But
it's Ant-Man and the Wasp 2.
It's Ant-Man. It's 2 Ant-Mans and 3 Wasps.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a spoiler, my bad, but whatever.
Yeah, it's also an introduction.
That's also sort of in the beginning of the film,
Yeah, and it's also an introduction to a new character who's going to set off the new arc of the MCU.
Yeah.
But also that might be a little complicated, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Almost certainly. But let's start with this trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So let's check this out.
Yeah. Man, Scott Lang.
Scott Lang.
Yeah, you're an Avenger.
You pick up the microphone also.
You have a daughter.
Right.
But you've lost a lot of time. Like me.
Yeah, we'll just continue.
We can help each other with that.
So we see the old cast, Janet and whatnot.
You lost one.
Here's Cassie.
I had forgotten that, Janet, they only showed in the last film.
Yeah.
In the first one, they're like, oh, is she going to be Kevin Zeta-Jones or not?
Want.
After the film happened.
What's that?
Right, and then there's Cassie, as we see in Endgame, and she's come back.
Is this an Endgame? Oh yeah, I remember.
Right.
There's a whole thing where she's like, I love you for 3,000 or whatever.
No, that's Tony Stark's.
No.
You cannot trust him.
No, there's Peanut though.
I don't care who this guy is.
Yeah. You're
I
so
just
big,
lost so
Peanut.
much.
That's what Cassie's. Oh yeah, and then this part
Give us a second chance.
is in the trailer, but it's not in the movie. Sorry for the spoilers, but
It's not.
yeah, it's a non-spoiler. That part's not in the movie.
Let me make
where
this
it's
easy
presented
for
as a
you.
second chance to be with his daughter.
You will bring me what I
That's
need.
not in the movie.
What is it?
Everything you call life.
That was interesting because, the Cassie from before isn't the Cassie from this movie.
It's not young Cassie, but it's the older Cassie that's in Endgame.
I guess it's really not a spoiler that she's the Wasp. It's you just saw her in the
You
suit.
may not want to watch this. We had a deal.
I mean, I watched the first trailer for this, and I didn't really remember a lot of this stuff. And then they show MODOK.
I didn't notice that.
This is the new trailer.
That's a terrible spoiler. You should have revealed that. Did a terrible
I don't have to win.
You got spoiled it.
Just have
That's
to
the end of the
lose.
film. You just spoiled
I think
review.
my logic for why they tried to spoil stuff in this trailer, it's because it was the second trailer, and that nobody really wanted to watch this movie.
There you go.
Because nobody knows what to make out of Ant-Man, really. Nobody's
That,
why would I want to watch an Ant-Man movie and pay a 3D movie ticket price to watch Ant-Man? So you gotta pull out all the stops to really get people. No, really, Ant-Man's gonna be good. It's gonna be really important. It's gonna
spoil the movie. People are not gonna want to watch it.
I don't know. They tried to spoil.
I mean, they're not gonna know that till after they watch the movie.
Exactly. So that's why you gotta show stuff that looks appealing. But anyway, this is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Quantumania. Not to be confused with Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is Ant-Man 2.
Yeah, so this follows up Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the events of Endgame. And it takes Scott...
Loki also.
Also Loki, actually. Yeah, that's also true.
I don't know how to bring that up while talking about...
We're not going to get into the spoilers exactly, but it brings up some of the story points in Loki, if you watch that show. But basically it involves Scott Lang and the Wasp and Cassie and Janet and Hope and the other guy,
Hank
Michael
Pym.
Douglas, Hank Pym.
Hank Pym, the OG.
All these guys are going down to the quantum realm to encounter a new villain of a new kind that they haven't encountered before. And they get things even on that level, you're what's going to go on there? And then it's revealed by Janet that there's the whole new world in between worlds in the quantum realm where they're going to encounter all kinds of things that they've never seen before. So yeah, and the trailer kind of captured a lot of that.
How they MacGuffin that, just sort of, how they MacGuffin how they go to the quantum realm is pretty lame, and then they don't bring up and explain it.
Yeah, how they go there is like Cassie has this device or whatever,
Yeah.
and then like this villain is like trying to like find them or whatever while they're trying to get out. But yeah, they're trying to get out of there before bad stuff happens. Is basically the setup for the story. But they actually do a lot of stuff with this story. I know it sounds like, why do we care about a guy who can control ants and like who can shrink and grow big and stuff? But they actually do a lot of really amazing stuff visually, story wise. They set up a really interesting villain for the next arc of the Marvel Universe. But as seen on Rotten Tomatoes, people didn't like this movie. We have a 47%.
Is that
on the
critics? No,
this is
people
critics.
liked it. Critics didn't.
Audiences-
Critics
audiences-
were 50-50.
Critics were 50-50. Audiences liked it. Critics said that...
I thought like it was a little bit too amazing, and I'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, critics said that it lacks the spark of fun that elevated earlier adventures, but Jonathan Majors Kang is a thrilling villain poised to alter the course of the MCU. Critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
I would feel that's a pretty legit argument.
Pretty fair, pretty fair.
Yeah.
Audience says the plot's a bit of a mess, but overall, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania starts Phase 5 of the MCU with a colorful, creative thrill ride that will leave you wanting to see much more of Jonathan Majors as Kang. So
Oh, boy.
a similar kind of take, but a little bit more favorable.
Yeah.
I think those are fair enough stances. I enjoyed the film a lot. I thought it did a lot of really amazing things.
It does do a lot of amazing things. That I won't say wrong.
It's a very fantastical movie. like it departures a lot from like the first two Ant-Man movies, especially because like the first one, like it's he can
It's a heist
shrink, he can grow big.
Well, actually, this is sort of a heist movie also.
Yeah, I guess this is also a heist movie, but like it's still the first Ant-Man movie takes place in San Francisco.
Yeah.
The second Ant-Man movie also takes place in San Francisco.
And this movie also sort of takes place in San Francisco, technically.
It's just in like the small
Quantum
realm,
Mania,
the quantum realm inside San Francisco, whatever. But yeah, it takes place in the quantum realm. So basically, imagine this takes place in like a special universe that's like in between spaces where all kinds of physics can be really different and stuff. And there's like a new villain that's like being trapped here because he has to be in this quantum realm because of like reasons related to the story and stuff. And that villain is played by Jonathan Majors and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say else about this movie. Like, it's really, I don't know, where do we go from here about it? Like, it's really visually captivating. Like, I can't emphasize enough how much, like, this movie really, like all the other Ant-Man movies, they try to do as much as possible with, like, when you're always like, what are they going to do with Ant-Man? Why do I care about Ant-Man? They always kind of surprise you with like how much they actually do with Ant-Man. And this one they go as far as big as possible. I feel like it's on the scale of like a Doctor Strange movie or like a Multiverse of Madness kind of movie in terms of like how far they go.
I
with
mean,
the
we can
visuals
get
and
into
stuff.
the spaghettification.
There's the violence in it, yeah, of course. But
Yeah, that was. I feel like
that's
that was
as far as it got.
And I felt like that kind of stuff. Well, spaghettification is really. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that's like. It's gonna deter kids from watching the movie, even though it's like a Marvel movie. And like, there's all this stuff about like, oh, you have to make everything R-rated, and like, no, you have to make like I mentioned before, you have to make the fundamentals of the movie good. You don't have to make it R-rated or anything. You just have to make it like good story, good acting, everything. Yeah.
I don't think it gets super duper violent, but like maybe because like there's like quantum cloning. Like there's some quantum trickery stuff where like people die but they don't die because they're quantum clones or whatever, and that can seem like a little creepy.
I don't even
like,
know if that's true. Like
yeah,
in the trailer, you straight up see like Ant-Man. Imagine if he didn't have this helmet on and they spaghettified him like in Multiverse of Madness.
They don't go that far.
Yeah. No, he's doing the Baskin Robbins thing, but now he's getting spaghettified.
I think you have a big issue with spaghettification as a phobia or something like that or whatever. Yeah. It's like it's very icky or whatever.
And like,
but, I mean, I
do think it has an issue. There's all this talking about like why are these movies not doing as well, and I feel like that could be a reason.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? The movie's not doing as well?
Like, you can't bring a 4-year-old to watch like that kind of film, you know?
Well, there's plenty of other reasons why you can't bring a
Well,
4-year-old to
the
watch
plot's
this.
also a little bit complicated, also, which is another issue.
It's not like Star Wars where it's like, oh, they're fighting the good guys and the bad guys or whatever. Here, it's like, okay, there's like stuff that's like, you can't make it look like space aliens. You have to make them look like even weirder than space aliens.
There's
Because
that
they're in
too,
the quantum realm. And then
they
say the word
Uncanny Valley stuff.
Right, you have to make them kind of like not even like traditional space aliens. So they have to be really inventive with all the like I don't know, like the buildings. Like
that stuff was pretty cool, actually. Yeah,
like the buildings, how they
the
like
buildings,
have
a ship, like a
personality.
human being, house.
Yeah, and then the quantum people aren't like quite like aliens. They're sort of like they're really weird, even like amongst the weirder aliens that like you would see in like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie or a Thor movie when they go into space or whatever. Like what else? Like they eat weird things and stuff like that.
Those things can like grow and attack people.
Yeah, I feel like this is like trying to like capture like the vibe of like, oh, when George Lucas was doing Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you know, the aliens aren't actually aliens. They're like in the space between spaces or whatever. So they're in between dimensions. But then Steven Spielberg asked him, what do they look like?
This is done better than that, yeah.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg asked him, like, you know, what do they look like then? And then George Lucas is like, well, they look like aliens. But like this actually tries to like try and imagine like what that actually looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's like some uneven pacing and stuff. But like once they kind of get the ball rolling on like how things are going in the quantum realm, like it actually catches up with like, oh, okay, this is actually what's happening now. Like they're talking with these characters, they're dealing with these conflicts, they're dealing with these interpersonal conflicts with each other, they're trying to find each other. And yeah, when the ball gets rolling, like it really takes off and it becomes like this huge enthralling adventure. And yeah, but it's very hard to explain what exactly is happening. I feel like it's pretty plot heavy. They spend a lot of time explaining like not only the quantum realm
stuff. It's a short
stuff,
movie too.
Yeah, it's a short movie, so they have to like pack it in. It's like a 2-hour movie. At least this cut of it that made it to theaters.
Maybe there'll be like a 5-hour version like Avatar is gonna have when it gets released on streaming apps.
Yeah, so who knows? Like maybe there will be like a.
I mean, like you even said like when we were watching this, like this isn't in the trailer. This isn't in the movie. This is in the movie.
Yeah, so like they really have to pack in all the story and all the action and stuff in 2 hours, which is not a lot of time. And maybe they want to have more show times in theaters because we can't spend 3 hours on people watching Ant-Man. Nobody's going to want to sit around for that. So yeah, but it is definitely. I feel like it is worth being on a scale of like being a 3-hour movie, but at the same time, like it's a hard pitch for people. It's hard to get their butts in the seats to watch a 3-hour Ant-Man movie because like they have to get over like, okay, it's Ant-Man, but yeah, it is a really epic scale kind of movie. It's like how like Guardians of the Galaxy like really does a lot of things that like you wouldn't expect, and in terms of like all it explores and like its punchiness and its action and its inventiveness with the visuals and the production design and all the alien designs and all the worlds they travel to and stuff. So and you got some of that from the trailer and stuff. Let's see if we can see some of these screenshots here. So here's like here's the movie poster, and like here we see like, you know, these bad guys,
the quantum knots.
Quantum knots. Here's some stuff of the people in the quantum realm, and then yeah, here's our cast of characters. Yeah, the Wasp. Here's Ant-Man.
I guess they just use the same image in the middle.
Yeah, it's just the same thing.
There's two people in the middle.
Introducing Cassie. Here's Janet Van Dyne. Janet Van Dyne's a more central character in this story than in the other movies.
I was going to get to it like after you said that stuff. Something just doesn't make any sense. Like why the reason why they got to the quantum realm happened. Why Janet Van Dyne didn't tell them, even though like Cassie's been all grown up. And I don't know what she's been doing in the household all this time, not telling them anything.
Yeah.
And the ending with the Hunter was really dumb, which we'll get into in a moment. And stuff like that where the plot was like plot wholly inconsistent and not very good.
Yeah, the story is like, I feel like there was like points where they were losing us, and like it's like sometimes it'd be like very plot
before
heavy,
before it gets to the quantum thing, it was just I thought we're gonna loot.
Yeah, but then you have moments like this where you have like worlds upon worlds, empires upon empires, building empires, biding time and stuff like that stuff seems like, wow, this is on an epic scale that's even beyond like anything in our universe and stuff. So that's really fascinating. That kind of stuff is really like brain bending and stuff, and it's really cool, but it's really hard to explain. Like you have to really nerd out to really be into this kind of stuff, and it's something I liked. Yeah, here's a little nice shot here where it's like Ant-Man and Cassie, and they're squaring off against like these quantum people. And
it's definitely Photoshop because they added a lot more in there than was actually there, and it looks a lot nicer than it does in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is like a photography shot, so it's fine.
Yeah, still image, and so yeah, and is there anything we show from this trailer that like just pause through this kind of moments here? Yeah, here's some moments. Just gonna pause, skip through.
The other thing with the trailer, the movie's so short, like they have to show something that's gonna spoil something.
Yeah, like look at some of this stuff. Like this is like pretty wild. And like yeah, this sequence here where there's a bunch of like what appear to be like here's Ant-Man stacked on top of something. That was a great moment in the film. And here's like a bunch of like what appears to be an army. So yeah, and here's like a bunch of Ant-Men or whatever facing off. It's pretty brutal, but it's not real though.
Spoiler.
It's not real. So yeah, it's I mean, yeah, I highly recommend people watch this.
I would say that, yeah. Whether it's good or not is totally different, but like definitely watch it, yeah.
Yeah, and let me see. Everybody's bringing something to the table in terms of like their characters and the story. The acting is pretty good. The visuals are good. The world building is amazing.
Yeah.
The storytelling of like how the plot actually goes is like kind of uneven, and that's probably the weakest point of it. But like the visuals and creativity and the world building is fascinating. And Jonathan Majors as the villain Kang in this is really compelling. He like kind of like.
Well,
really
something that comes to mind right now is that he's like an alien, even though like all he doesn't even he's just a costume. He doesn't really have makeup or anything.
Yeah, a lot of it is like him just like just being like this image of like he's got no mask on and he's in like the garb or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, and even just like that, like his, I mean, they don't want to get his mask on because that would get in the way of his like performance that he does in his face and stuff, and that really how he like delivers lines, like how his cadence on like how he like tells people like Ant-Man interesting, like like it's very compelling. Like you can, it's like his voice is like dripping with like sinister vibes and stuff.
So like Peter Cullen or like those kind of voice acting that can make it seem like Zillion.
Yeah, it's like a kind of haunted kind of character, a haunting kind of character,
Yeah.
And he's also portraying a character that I don't know, kind of like views people in a very utilitarian kind of way, and is kind of like has gone through like brain bending kind of things in his past. So like maybe that's caused him to like be unstable and view people in a certain kind of way. So that kind of comes through in his performance and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of like, yeah, and that's kind of like what makes a lot of like villains like Thanos, like Kang, is that they kind of view people in terms of like a means to an end, and they don't empathize with people anymore, and they speak in terms of like utilitarian terms, and anyway, yeah. He views us like insects. You're Ant-Man, like you're in the way of
he's
my
like a
destiny.
omnipotent being, yeah.
Yeah. He's like an omnipotent being in the scale of like a Thanos and stuff, and you can really feel that in this
Probably
movie.
more so because like he travels through time and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, that's his character, is that he's like a time traveling, multiverse traveling character and stuff.
Yeah.
And if he's in Loki,
I feel like you have to watch both at the same time.
You should watch it.
Otherwise, you'll be confused. Because I watched Loki, and I was like, who is this guy? And then when I watched this, I was like, oh, I gotta watch Loki to figure out what happened in that. So
yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, Loki explains it a little bit more, but like most of the series isn't really about him. But it's kind of about him the whole time.
Also, I had this flashback to like Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, where they show the statue and like, this is pretty dumb.
Yeah.
And then when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this movie explains a lot of the stuff that happened in Loki, actually. So, so it's kind of a, I don't know, the multiverse of the MCU is falling apart because like you have to watch more TV shows upon movies and stuff.
That reminds me,
stacking up.
Like if you've never watched Ant-Man before, would you know any of these characters from the Ant-Man family?
Yeah, I guess you'd have to catch up on who everyone is. Also.
I think that's a major complaint from like the critics section of the Rotten Tomatoes thing.
Yeah, like they just kind of throw it at you. They just assume you already have been watching the previous episodes of this really long TV show.
Yeah.
That like you have to watch like 20 movies to understand.
And you also have to remember what's going on. Also, which is the thing.
Yeah, and then they do callbacks and stuff like, oh, you remember in Germany, Scott, and remember in. Remember going into space, Scott, and like they just.
I fought Captain America. I fought whatever.
I fought with Captain America. I'm not that stupid. Ha ha ha. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, should we get into spoiler talk soon, or let's
take all spoilers anyway?
Yeah. Anyway, let's take a break and then we'll get into spoiler talk.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. Yeah. We'll be back from the break and then we'll get into spoiler talk. All right, see you soon. All right, and we're back. Mudita Hard here.
PRpHD here. Chucky PhD.
I got
Chucky's PhD, sorry.
So I got Ant-Man Pez dispenser here. I forgot to mention that earlier.
Yeah.
Check it out. And then
I got some checkers.
Yeah, show off the checkers for the crowd here. Here's like the box here.
Yeah. Show the stuff inside too.
Here's the box. Checkers rallies, and here's what the inside looks like. Sorry, I'm blocking you.
It's fine, yeah.
Try to block myself too.
Something there I might have to edit.
Try to get some good lighting. It's in the way of the light. Alright, there we go. That's kind of good.
Yeah.
And then here's the chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Cut in half. It's got a brioche bun.
The cut, yeah, that's a nice cut. Both in video and cut, yeah.
Alright.
Ready.
And we're back. We're here.
Chicken nugget was great, yeah.
Alright, nice. Yeah. I already had my fill earlier.
Yeah.
So now PRpHD is catching up.
This checkers fry, yeah. Love checkers fries. Better than McDonald's and Burger King.
Yeah, they're kind of like curly fries and stuff. We're not even getting paid to do this, obviously.
They don't really have a lot of like tie-ins to movies and stuff, right?
Checkers?
I suppose they even have a chicken sandwich. They don't advertise a chicken sandwich. They don't really have advertising budget or anything.
Yeah, they're promoting like some random Philly cheesesteak place in that Shazam movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen Checkers promoted in anything. In Ant-Man and Quantumania, though, spoilers, they make multiple references to Baskin Robbins, a callback to the first movie.
What's the thing we were watching? Oh, Shazam, yeah. They had a Krispy Kreme moment from the Power Rangers movie in it.
Oh, really?
They're like, what's this Gatorade? Is it a secret weapon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it turned
out it's pretty weird that people are copying Power Rangers, the movie, for like movie ideas now. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just a cheesy, like, common style of joke to... I mean, people make those kinds of jokes all the time. It's just product... We're just so ingrained to have product placement in...
That was very awkward as we're doing product placement.
Yeah. I don't know, whatever. We're just chowing down.
Yeah.
But
Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
It's not like we're getting paid to do it. Anyway, yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. What else? Spoiler talk. Spoiler talk, not non-spoiler talk. Spoiler talk. I mean, there's so many things going on in this movie. I feel like it's more interesting to talk about spoiler talk in some ways.
Yeah, but we sort of did, yeah.
Yeah. We were just like bursting. We were like, I think we're like basically starting to talk spoilers after a while.
Yeah.
Nothing major at first, but then
Yeah.
basically there's like so much to unpack. Where would you like to start with spoiler talk? I mean, like with the main story beats or like random side stuff?
Well, let me see. Notes.
I mean,
I already talked about the criticisms about stuff.
I mean, like we mentioned.
You want to talk about like claws and stuff?
Quaz?
Yeah.
What's Quaz again? I don't even remember.
Like the Rebels.
Rebels. There's Veb.
Oh, should we go in chronological order? That'd probably be easier, right? Opposed to like confusing people with like random things. Should we not do that?
I don't know. Whichever. I don't know. I mean, like the movie has them go down into the quantum realm. They try to find their way back. They try to find each other, but then one group finds themselves with some rebels. The other group find themselves with Kang.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then they meet to try and like defeat Kang. Is the basic summary of the story.
So the thing is, like, they need to get Kang needs to get Janet.
Yeah,
and if
then,
like they have any of the Van Dyne Pims, Janet will go after them.
Yeah, he needs to use their Pym particles to escape the quantum realm.
Quantum realm,
and like go into the multiverse. Because
oh yeah, is a Quantumverse the theme park name thing or something?
Quantumverse?
Is that not a thing?
What is Quantumverse?
Sounds familiar. I don't know. Maybe I just
you mean in Hong Kong Disneyland or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
No. Maybe it was like the Disney Wish or something.
That attraction, I don't know. They made a Marvel attraction out of MCU, but of all the MCU things, they chose Ant-Man and the Wasp, which actually does feature a live action. This is not even a spoiler for the movie, but it does feature like a live action appearance by Paul Rudd in it, in the recordings for it. And he's also in the Disney Wish Ant-Man attraction. They keep making more Ant-Man stuff and things outside the movies, and so it's bizarre. And Paul Rudd's not going to say no, of course.
No.
But like he's probably one of the few MCU characters that's still ongoing that has had 3 movies based on him.
And he started from the beginning. Yeah, like everyone's new now. Yeah, he's like the veteran.
He's the veteran at this point. Like
it's sort of like one of the Harry Potter points in like the books. After a while, yeah, he's like
the Neville.
Harry Potter's the veteran.
Yeah.
After fighting all these villains.
Yeah, except it's more like Luna Lovegood has become the veteran or something. Like
it's like after that.
yeah. I mean, Ant-Man came in like around like Civil War era or so. Yeah. And
because like Thor would be like the Neville Longbottom or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And like Ant-Man would be Luna Lovegood.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
But now he has 3 movies to his name, and he's not killed off yet or anything like that. He's not written out of the story. Like
they didn't even tease it like during Endgame, right? They're like,
he's like,
we killed off. Oh, no one cares. Let's just leave him there.
No, did they kill Ant-Man? No, we're not even gonna make you worry that much. It's not. Don't worry. I don't think he's almost certainly not getting paid as much as like a lot of the other co-stars in the MCU.
That's something I want to mention. Like,
we don't have Michelle Pfeiffer. We don't have to get into the money stuff too much. Like, but
you have Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas, and all these other actors.
Yeah,
and like they have to pay second fiddle to like Paul Rudd in this movie.
Yeah, and like this is like a very I mean, because it's Ant-Man, because of like the role that this character inhabits in the MCU.
Yeah.
And like a lot of like these people in their careers compared to like being A-list stars, like it feels like a kind of like B cast compared to like, it's like a WandaVision level kind of, event or whatever, or like maybe a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness level kind of thing. It's not like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. kind of thing or whatever.
I don't think Chris Evans was that big. I think he just got worried about like being in the spotlight that long.
Yeah,
like, he had like therapy issues with that.
Yeah, or Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah. That was a money issue,
yeah. Yeah. I think Paul Rudd's like, I'll be Ant-Man, no big deal, happy to do it.
Because Maybe they can't find enough Ant-Man. Maybe no one else wants to play Ant-Man.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Let me see what else. So
There's a lot of spoilers. Yeah.
yeah. So what were we talking about? Yeah. So they're trying to fight Kang. They need the pin particles. Oh yeah. Another aspect of this is that not only is this dealing with the quantum realm, it has to deal with explaining the whole backstory of Kang.
And
Explaining
the multiverse, yeah.
And it explains the multiverse. So, some people, I'm imagining some people are just like, okay, I've just sort of, got the idea of the quantum realm. And then you're, already talking about the multiverse. I haven't been paying attention to the past movies.
I think you sort of have to with Kang, though, yeah.
It's how it fits into the rest of the MCU. But, in the course of one movie, if you're not already kind of acquainted with this concept already, through, Loki, or through Multiverse of Madness, or through general, comic book stuff, you're like, okay, somehow this has something to do with, some multi-universal time war, or something. I don't quite understand this. They kind of gloss over it a little bit during this movie, too. And, somehow there's, these floating things in space. I guess that's bad. It, involves trillions of lives. I don't understand it. I could see people not...
I'm sort of wondering,
it being, a little much to, jump from, explaining the quantum realm and then also jumping into the multiverse. It's a lot to pack into 2 hours.
Originally
2 hours, this movie is.
I felt like originally they wanted Eternals to, tie into all this, too. But, since that didn't do well, I don't know if they're going to do that now.
Yeah, Eternals kind of...
That's, very important in terms of, Kang and Conqueror and, all these, big Illuminati, beings or whatever.
Yeah, I remember let me see if we cut out here or if we're still going. Okay.
Going, yeah.
Yeah, but I remember even before Infinity War came out.
Yeah.
I heard people talking about how the MCU was already thinking that post Avengers Infinity Saga, the direction they were going to take the series was Marvel Cosmic Universe and Marvel Multiverse as the next scale of issues beyond just the stuff on Earth with Tony Stark and Captain America and stuff like that.
They had What If already.
So they had What If already.
They had Multiverse of Madness.
They had Multiverse of Madness. So it's already kind of being hinted at and stuff. But that being said, we're nerds. We can't pay attention to this. If you're oh, I haven't seen a Marvel movie in 5 years, let me check out Ant-Man. I haven't seen something since Ant-Man 1. You just jump into this. You're who's Janet Van Dyne? What is the quantum realm? Who is Kang? What is the multiverse? What is time travel? That's a thing, but also they travel between timelines. What is that? I think that's what's happening.
They're also getting a little bit more comic booky, opposed to more casual viewer.
Yeah,
they might also happen to be an issue, but revenue wise, yeah.
Yeah, it's as the MCU continues on, they become less accessible to casual viewers. And more grounded, and you could just jump in and if you had no previous knowledge at all.
Yeah.
Now they kind of keep doubling down on their existing audience of fans, and they become more inaccessible until they reach the point where they have to reboot the whole thing with a Crisis on Infinite Earths level thing, or a Marvel multiversal war thing or whatever, and they have to start pruning down things or whatever. But then it also faces the cinema problem of we can't sell dead Han Solo toys because we've got to sell all the merchandise. So even if they wanted to cut down on the universe, a lot of times they we can only kill one character at a time, even though we just introduced 15 more characters in one movie or whatever. And then you got to sell the Funko Pops, you got to sell the costumes for Halloween. They
were having issues with this with the theme parks and live action Disney and Star Wars and Marvel. We have people dressed up as those characters, but they might not look exactly like them, and they aren't actually the person. They're not with Disney. It was all cartoons before, so you can have some random person dress up as a person. But if you're actually going to do live action movies, you are the actual actor there, not some person dresses as them.
Right. I think you're talking about how in Disney California Avengers Campus, we were watching online YouTube videos of they have Star-Lord or Doctor Strange or, this was a really interesting video. They had Wanda Maximoff post WandaVision, but pre-Multiverse of Madness. And she was vaguely trying to talk about her storyline but like also trying to avoid giving spoilers or saying anything that would like
She's really evil one Maximoff.
Conflicts with the continuity, and like Wanda Maximoff in Multiverse of Madness was written sort of in parallel with WandaVision, and they didn't know how their stories were going to end. So those storylines kind of like conflict a little bit. But anyway, that's a side note. But anyway, this whole like this like engine of movies, the movies coming first, it's very hard for like them to like keep up with all these like side franchises and like side products and tie-ins and stuff, because the movies move very fast. They release like 3 movies a year or something like that. Yeah,
like when it was like Disney characters, it's easy because like Snow White, which was made all the way in 1939.
Yeah. Whereas
like you have to keep updating the book all the time, like Star Wars and Marvel all the time. Yeah.
Right. Like let me see. Like I don't know if we can find something that captures this. Like I don't know. Like
also, I was just figuring out how much of a bummer it is now that they're actually doing layoffs and like Elizabeth Olsen is a part of the universe anymore.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, just how do we look at series, collections? See, like, look at Star Wars. This is, like, a lot of movies, but, like, it's manageable, compared to something like MCU, which is, like, multiple franchises.
Most of these movies are, like, done 3 years at a time or something.
Yeah,
Like, 3 at 1 year.
Yeah, they're, like, tentpole films, but, like, like, they don't do 3 of them at a year or whatever. There's, like... And they don't do like, but now they're starting to do like TV shows and stuff now. But like, look, then they have Guardians of the Galaxy collection, and like now Guardians of the Galaxy has their own mini franchise within a franchise that is also part of a greater thread of continuity of the larger MCU and stuff. And this is kind of like tying into the whole Saint Elsewhere kind of problem that like Dwayne McDuffie was talking about.
Really?
Dwayne McDuffie made Static Shock. And then he had his characters like cameo in like Zeta Project and Justice League Unlimited and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people were complaining, does that mean like all Static Shock is in the same universe as Justice League? This is a huge conflict. Is Zeta Project in the same universe? That's a conflict. And then Dwayne McDuffie just like casually was like, listen, TV shows continuity like is very loose. That's why we don't take it as seriously as comic books. So if you took TV show continuity seriously...
I actually brought that up with the Muppets Mayhem podcast.
Right, like if... We'll bring that up again soon. Oh. But like, let me complete this thought first. But if you had TV continuity as serious as like comic book continuity, then like this one TV show, Saint Elsewhere, would have... like multiversal implications in like hundreds of TV shows and stuff like that.
It's like a TV tropes thing with Saint Elsewhere, right? I forgot about it. I haven't watched the... Can you look it up on TV tropes even?
Let me see if we can find... let me see... let me see, what is it? It's
probably on TV tropes, I'm imagining. It's like Hulu. That's cool. Westfall. There you go. The Westfall theory. Yeah.
The Westfall theory of the Saint Elsewhere Westfall Tommy Westfall universe.
The Westfall verse. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the Westfall grid. Yeah, I mean, like I literally talked about this on my stream about multiverses. Is the MCU part of the Tommy Westfall universe?
That's a little creepy that showed up there.
I looked this up before on one of my streams when I was talking about multiverses.
But it's just weird because like, we were just talking about Tommy Westfall and MCU.
Yeah. I mean, it's a previous thing. I browsed this before.
I guess, yeah.
But like, I actually remember how it ties in. In the Collector, this is a side tangent again. Yeah. Like in the Collectors, in Guardians of the Galaxy like 2 or something, the Collector has a Blue Man Group covered in like jean shorts version of like David Cross's character from Arrested Development, and then that like detective from Homicide: Life on the Street appeared on an episode of Arrested Development, and then that character is like the patient zero of like the Tommy Westphall universe, where he's like in X-Files and like a bunch of other shows. So and he appeared on in the Time Westfall universe. So yeah, you could argue that the MCU is in the Time Westfall universe, which is why continuity in TV shows is bullshit. Because just don't overthink it. It's ridiculous if you think of it that way. That was Dwayne McDuffie's argument about the Time Westfall universe. Not that like this is a cool idea. It's like if you could take it to extreme, like it's actually like pretty absurd if you actually.
It gets pretty dangerous, like
far.
in the Avengers continuity and the Super Sentai continuity, I think.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. I mean, like, there's no way, like, even the creators themselves are gonna follow this stuff that far. So, like, that's the problem with comic books. Is like, ooh, like, even the comic creators like try to humor the audience. Like, okay, we gotta try and make this somewhat continuity based or whatever. But like after a while, they're like, oh, fuck it, like, screw it. This is gonna take too much work. It's like figure this out. Like, I don't know, like, how are we gonna keep track of like the fact that like the Flash says he didn't eat donuts one time in 1984, and they're like, oh, he's eating donuts here. He's like, oh, he only eats donuts while having coffee, I guess. Like, I figure out a reason to make it up. Because one fan sends a letter in or whatever. But I don't know, like, yeah, you can't overthink this stuff. I don't know. I got on this rant again. I totally forgot what my train of thought was originally.
I totally lost too.
But anyway, like the MCU is a lot of stuff to keep track
Disney
of.
theme parks and
Disney theme parks. Star Wars is less. There's like too many movies, too many damn movies to keep track
and like
of.
when Luke Skywalker doesn't really never like Luke Skywalker, and you can't like trying to replace Black Widows and Elizabeth Olsen's and stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's why like they went with like doing Galaxy's Edge being. Like,
I think that's why they did all new stuff because like also like, a lot of people are getting older also.
Yeah. So like MCU is complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know. And like so we're supposed to talk about spoilers, right?
Yeah.
And then like we're gonna deal with the multiverse soon enough.
Yeah, the multiverse.
And all the multiverse is a fun excuse to bring in stuff like X-Men and Fantastic Four and Deadpool and all that good stuff. Yeah, and they already hinted at it with like officially in Multiverse of Madness. You could argue that like What If is like in its own thing, but like Multiverse of Madness brings it into the actual fold of like the MCU, and then like here's another acknowledgement in Loki and in this movie what are we even talking about? Quantumania.
Quantumania, yeah.
Was in
I'm
trap.
sort of wondering if Hawkeye's going to show up in musicals collection.
Oh yeah, because of
Steve Rogers the musical.
Steve Rogers the musical, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing about the Hawkeye
So
show.
Ant-Man, I think, has the shortest thing of all the franchises.
But he does have 3 full movies.
Yeah, there you
3
go.
full movies that have his name on it.
Oh wow, 2 of them are Avengers. I guess What If's a spoiler, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, how can you What If Ant-Man? Like, what if Captain America's Ant-Man or something?
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it.
There you go,
I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, I actually don't
You
know.
have to-
So
you
it's
have to
very
watch-
interesting. Yeah.
I recommend you watch it. What If.
I
What If
want to
is
watch
good.
it too. I just haven't had the time.
What If
yeah.
is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fun. I mean, that's like part of the fun of having a multiverse is you can just make up random things.
Yeah.
I think the bringing back of Captain America.
I remember like
to
in college was all about like Elseworlds and like Superman, Red Sun, and all these fun ideas.
Yeah, and then some of those ideas actually get brought into the actual mainline universe.
Yeah.
Because
Multiverse,
they're just so interesting and stuff. Like I think Captain America being frozen in ice from the 1940s and being brought into the modern era was actually started in a What If comic. They got into that in the What If behind the scenes. They're like, yeah, What If? A lot of actually great ideas came out from What If comics and
pretty cool.
MCU and Marvel comics, not MCU, but so yeah, maybe there's like possibilities of that happening. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. Spoilers. I mean, we're supposed to talk about spoilers. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a few main spoilers to talk about. I mean, one of them being MODOK.
The Hunter, sorry. The Hunter.
The Hunter, yeah. Feel free to take it away and talk about that for a bit while I... drink my
Okay,
water.
so they make a big deal. Like, the Hunter, he's not man. He's not machine. That's pretty cool. He shows up and, like, you find out it's MODOK. who MODOK is interesting too, and he's this being that like carries out all the commands of Kang in that quantum dimension, or whatever it's called, and
the quantum realm.
And everyone fears him. He's like he's going to destroy everything. And then later on in the end, they ruined that completely, and I don't know why. And that's one of the annoying things about this film.
Yeah, I feel like it started off by setting up MODOK as like this kind of.
He was like, well, he has an interesting backstory because in the film they do all these callbacks to the first movie, like, oh, Cassie fought Yellow Jacket. Oh,
Cassie fought Yellow Jacket.
What's up?
There's also the Baskin Robbins
reference, yeah,
and like
the cake.
Like the owner of the Baskin Robbins is back, and like he's thanking him. Like it's like, oh, his life's changed since the first movie.
And the whole monologue in the beginning and the end is like him reviewing the first movie, even.
Yeah, and also like he was
a thief.
His autobiography.
How many times he was in prison?
Right. It's good they had the same director brought on for the Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 3. Because, like, he knows the story of Ant-Man very closely.
He's also been a part of Paul Rudd's career beyond Ant-Man with Yes Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's Peyton Reed.
He shows box office, either and he has background in sci-fi with Computer Wars, Tennis Shoes, and Back to the Future.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's not the Kirk Cameron one, and not the guy from Blade. Not Blade Runner, the Escape from New York guy, but like, he did a Love Bug too. That's sort of sci-fi, I guess. And the Weird Al Show. Wow, he did a lot of stuff.
Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
I don't know what that is.
Bob Odenkirk and David Cross.
Oh, I haven't watched that before. That's interesting.
Mr. Show. I feel like it's a big.
Just like comedies, yeah.
Big comedy nerds love that show.
Upright Citizens Brigade, yeah.
Oh, Mandalorian also, huh?
Are you gonna watch it because of Peyton Reed? Or is like Ant-Man too much of a church?
I feel like I gotta watch Mandalorian at some point, just because like there's. You've brought it up so many times, and like
I like the first season. I felt like they got too fan servicey after the first season.
Yeah, the writer of
I haven't watched the third season yet.
Writer of Quantumania.
Jimmy Kimmel.
It's on Jimmy Kimmel Live, but also
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, definitely some Rick and Morty.
Well, I'm the sci-fi fan, I guess. Yeah.
And then also, apparently, he has some credits on Kang Dynasty as well.
Well, that was spoiled for us, all right.
But yeah, I don't know if that's like a big deal.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if that was Prime on the News Network. They would have done offensive stuff in that and The Office when it was there.
Yeah.
They did the Emmys, the Oscars. Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wow, that's cool. Oh.
So if you don't like them, you can blame him for it.
Okay.
Miracle Workers was an interesting show, right?
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I haven't watched it.
And he did a bunch of comics also.
That's cool. So he's actually a comic guy then.
Look at this.
Boom Studios.
With Phil Lord.
This guy could do Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He's part of Boom Studios.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And with Phil Lord and Chris Miller for Miles Morales. All right.
Huh.
Right on, man.
Well, Devin Wolverine. That was a big one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Life After Life.
I think we have one from GameStop Expo.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Jeff Loveness, who's the writer for this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess yeah.
We were talking about MODOK.
Yeah. How can we like show MODOK?
He's in the trailer. He's even in the trailer.
Let's just have a still image of MODOK.
I mean, he's definitely in the trailer. Just show.
Let's see, where is he? He's like around here somewhere.
Then, yeah.
There he is. See, it's for a split second. They do show him. And he looks cool. And you're like, well, what's his deal? But, like, how they actually have him play out...
He's not... Spoiler, he's not the Patton Oswalt one.
Yeah, it's not the Patton Oswalt one.
But it's a cool tie-in, and then they ruined it.
It's a cool idea because, like, you're like, oh, yeah, Darren from Ant-Man 1. Yellow Jacket. He was defeated by being sent down to the quantum level. So
that was actually pretty gruesome death too. He was like all compacted and stuff.
He's all compacted and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that means like, oh, it makes sense that they brought him back. I was like, oh, it clicked for me. I was like, yeah, I guess they could bring him back.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and he's working this whole time he was working down here with Kang and stuff like that. So that's actually kind of interesting idea going on. And you know, it's like making this villain from Ant-Man one time with Ant-Man 3 and stuff. But then they just turn him into like comic relief in this movie. And I feel like it felt like a decision that was made because like, you know, the first two Ant-Man were pretty silly movies and they want to still have some of that goofy like sitcom humor element, you know, in this movie still. But they didn't know where else to put it, so they just threw it on the fact that like Darren is like MODOK, and like everyone just asks him when they say they're like, Darren, it's you. What happened to you? It's like it's a whole thing. It's like,
Yeah.
and then like they play it for laughs and stuff that Darren's doing all this stuff. But like even though like he's done obviously really horrible things, like somehow it's a joke.
And he wants to
It's
become
very-
an Avenger for no reason at the end.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like it kind
It's
of
nonsensical.
it doesn't really fit. Like it doesn't advance the story. It doesn't really feel in
It
character.
doesn't help the tone.
The tone was all over the place. It didn't fit with like
It ruined the character.
the character didn't make any sense after that because
Yeah.
like it's not
He's not the Hunter anymore.
it becomes like it's the moment where like this movie feels more like
Jumping the shark.
it jumps the shark a little bit. It like
Yeah.
becomes like the rest of this movie feels like it's on the level like oh there's like a
That's
genocide.
a great movie. Wow.
There's like it's an epic scale movie. There's a genocidal maniac. There's like you know epic things on like the quantum realm, the multiverse of madness and stuff like that. There's all this stuff going on, and then like we have hardy har har. It's like Rowan and Lewis's laughing hour on like you know it's the 1950s cartoon show or whatever. This is like Rowan and Martin's laughing. Like I don't know like. Let's get a couple of jokes in with Darren here. Like, I don't know, like, that being said, like, Ant-Man and the Wasp did have those kinds of moments, but that fit more with the overall tone of that movie. This movie felt like it went to a different kind of issues, different kind of tone, different kind of layer of, like, issues in the MCU. So it clashed more. So it's not a perfect movie because of this kind of stuff. But I don't know. So that being said, a lot of the other things redeem this movie. But yeah, the MODOK character is probably one of the weakest parts of this movie.
And that,
Along with the storytelling.
another thing that reminds me of is like how that happened in the end where he tries to redeem himself with the ants. They don't bring me Anthony from the first movie. And, like they're all technologically advanced, but they don't show up to like after one of the most beloved characters in the movie dies, and then like, they come and save the day way too late. Like by storming Kang the Conqueror, like a million ants on the place. You know, like they said, Hankman always has a plan in this movie, but like it seems like he doesn't have a plan in this movie, or like he's always very late, or like the timing's bad or something.
I think like they had to cram in all the different storylines and character moments, and
Yeah.
like they had to give each character their own highlights in the movie.
Yeah.
And like there just wasn't enough time to fit it all in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It feels like to me. I feel like this will probably play well better on Disney Plus in the long run.
Yeah, like
Because
Turtles did, right?
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
Black Panther obviously did, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see Way of Water, yeah.
yeah. I can't imagine how this must have been in theaters in 3D. That would have been
Some parts
pretty wild.
Nauseating, but like otherwise should be fine.
Probably would have made you sick at certain parts,
Yeah.
especially like the sequence. Like you know what I'm talking about.
The Million Ant-Mans. And like you have Paul Rudd talking to Paul Rudd. And there's like a million Paul Rudds talking to each other. And you don't know which one's the actual Paul Rudd, even though they're all the actual Paul Rudd or Scott Lang or whatever.
Like this image right here, you know.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, like I think we had to take a break at this point in the movie.
Yeah.
You're
And
like,
it sort of feels like elements of like the aspects like Robert Zemeckis didn't want in Back to the Future Part 2 where Michael J. Fox plays his own daughter. Like that's not actually in the canon of the film.
yeah, this is like yeah, he's in a probability storm, which I think is actually a
That's like a pretty interesting idea.
It's a very interesting idea. That's like some of the highlight stuff in like an Ant-Man movie is like stuff you don't expect like that.
That's
like
sort of-
how it's implemented and
that
how it's
kind of like
fascinating.
technical stuff, technical science stuff. I liked even in Avengers United They Stand with that Ant-Man even though that was a Hank Pym and not Scott Lang.
Trying to see if I can find another shot of like that sequence. Yeah, here's it.
There you go. Some of the animals there. A little bit earlier.
So he's not even in the suit there. It's an empty suit.
That's interesting. Wow, that's how you get away with a PG-13 rating, right? Like, there's no blood. There's no being in there. It's just a suit. There's nobody in there.
Right, yeah. And then here's all the Ant-Man. You can't really see what's
Whereas,
going
like, in
on.
Multiverse of Madness, you just straight up see the guy from The Office, like, get split up pieces.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, they have a lot of interesting sets here with, like, set pieces here. With,
Oh, yeah,
like,
the
how they're
goose ship
explaining
where you
it.
put your hands in the turkey or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
And, yeah, it's like riding a bicycle or whatever. And, like, also the buildings that talk, also all the people in the Quantum Rebellion are really cool. William Jackson Harper is in this as a really cool telepath character.
Isn't technically they just say Civil War is the Ant-Man film, right? Because, like, Hank Pym's in it talking to Mr. Stark, Howard Stark.
Civil War.
I think so. They have the flashback with Hank.
Oh, and the flashback, yeah.
Hank Pym.
But also Ant-Man is in the airport scene.
Yeah.
And he gets locked up in this, like, third time getting locked up in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they acknowledge all the times he's gotten locked up in prison in this movie.
Yeah.
So this is fun. This is a fun, like, oh, how many times is it? Like, yeah. Also, yeah, it's got tight writing.
Oh,
yeah. Try to not, like, crack it in the microphone too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, Cassie is like a jailbird in this too.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, there's so much going on in this movie.
I thought they wasted that, and then, like, later she doesn't do anything with that in the film. It's like they added it at the end of the film, like end of production.
It's fascinating because, like, the central conflict.
I mean, they might have, like, made it, like, before 2020. They're like, oh, we gotta update it a little or something.
I mean, like, a lot of what makes this movie work is that there's this central conflict between, like, all the good characters, and, like, they have this loyalty to each other, particularly in the bond between Scott Lang and his daughter Cassie.
No.
But then Kang doesn't give a shit about any of that. He's willing to, like, sacrifice people left and right to be able to get what he wants. So,
Kang doesn't have family, right?
Yeah.
Like, Thanos has family. Kang doesn't have family.
Yeah, it's very much similar to, like, a Rick and Morty kind of style plot, where, like, Kang is, like, this kind of character.
Oh.
So that kind of makes sense that it's written by a Rick and Morty writer.
Yeah.
And also very similar to Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of style, like, approach to, like, what the multiverse can do and how its effects on people.
Yeah.
But also, this movie also acknowledges, like, what gets you through those kinds of moments is love and family. Love and family, you know.
I forgot to mention this. There's sort of like the original Fantastic Four family prior to them actually owning the Fantastic Four.
Right.
And also the Scott Summers and the Xaviers and all that, the Magneto family. Even though they sort of had the Magneto family.
Scott Summers' family, you mean him and Jean Grey and they had kids or something? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there's like kind of like de facto families, like between the X-Men and all the different students who know each other at the Xavier Institute. And even like the Magneto's cadre is called the Brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
And like it's a brotherhood. And that's often how, like, you know, violent extremist organizations in real life frame themselves. They call themselves a brotherhood. And like oftentimes when hate groups or whatever form, like it's often through bonding amongst hating other groups together as like a brotherhood of a kind.
I think that was in the Kamal Bell thing.
That's how these
things
things
is
happen.
defense, yeah.
Yeah. It's like and like you only attack others as something that's supposed to prove yourself to your brothers.
Yeah.
To show how loyal you are to your crew and stuff like that. And that's like similar between like whether it's white supremacists or like you know, Latino gangs in an inner city. It's like a commonality, or like, you know, people who like are part of like ISIS or whatever. You know, it's all very similar kind of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, brotherhoods and stuff. It's all bonding through families and stuff, and that's what gets you through the multiverse. You know, but you know, obviously, you know, you want to be on a family that has good values and stuff like that, and it takes a lot to like bring somebody on that side and whatnot.
It's tough because like I don't want to get into it, but like sometimes it's like the same thing almost, you know.
Yeah.
Because like, you have to protect, but sometimes you gotta do stuff, you know.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but like we don't have to get into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But let me see. So and then like Ant-Man's greatest weakness is that he's not willing to sacrifice his family in order to protect the universe. So,
well, I feel like Kang, like he's like,
I mean, like
I have to save the universe by defeating me or something like that. Like he has something like that in the movie too, right? And he can't tell like where in time it is. Like, oh, I met you before, but I didn't meet you before, and stuff like that.
I mean, literally, what saves the Ant-Man family is like the fact that they have a family of people, and they literally outnumber.
Protector, yeah.
Yeah. Here's like Hope saving Scott right here, and then and then their bond is what allows them to defeat the probability storm.
I think Shazam tried to do that the second one by having like a million Supermen in it, basically.
Yeah, but like basically, like there are just so many of them that they literally have a whole colony of ants ganging up on Kang.
Yeah,
like that. Like he's like, there's too many of them. Like,
yeah,
it's like almost like a Squirrel Girl kind of moment versus like Doctor Doom kind of.
They basically made Hank Pym Squirrel Girl Ant-Man in the MCU.
Somehow, like these ants are like the most powerful force in the MCU or whatever.
I also forgot to mention how funny Michael Douglas was in this film. He had all these one-liners that were really good.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like he's way above the level Paul Rudd is in terms of like acting. And it really makes him Paul Rudd look really bad.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Rudd is more grounded as like in like an everyday scenario. Like in the beginning of the movie, in the end of the movie, he's just talking like, "Hey, I'm just living my life in San Francisco."
Yeah.
And then like when he's in the quantum realm fighting like Kang and dealing with quantum people, you know, Kang himself says like, "You're out of your depth, that man," and he's like, he literally is like, it's like way beyond his like personality and temperament.
Yeah, he's a thief. He's not like a sci-fi science guy. Like
he's not a scientist.
Doc Pym is, and like I guess anyone. He's like the only one in the whole Pym Van Dynes that knows nothing about science.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's 100% true. Yeah.
It's sort of weird that they even revolved it around him. Even
there are a lot of other characters in like Ant-Man and the Wasp, like his buddies in like the security group.
Yeah, I had this whole rant about like where are they, and like
also
Morpheus is in Decipher actually.
Yeah, and
they don't have the villain from the last movie.
They don't have Goliath. They don't have Ghost.
Yeah,
they don't have Scott Lang's ex-wife and his ex-wife's husband.
That pissed me off so much in that movie when they're like. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. That was so frustrating with that. That really lowered the movie for me, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some dynamics are weird. I don't know, but...
Like, the guy sends him to jail, and then, like, he dates the guy who imprisons him. It doesn't seem right, you know?
He dates the guy who imprisons him?
Yeah, he's the guy who sends him to jail, yeah.
He dates...
She dates, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He sends him to jail?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
That happens. It's pretty messed up. Played off the last one was really not that funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In any case, like, what was it saying? He's not the science guy. Oh, yeah, the three buddies he normally has. So I had this whole rant about, like, how, wow, they have this whole bunch of crew, well, now you see it, yeah. One of them is in the movie, actually, but he's not as one of the thief people. He's actually a voice actor for a really cool Quantum Realm character.
Yeah, that was a cute little like inclusion in the. I
got angry for no reason because they didn't tell me. I didn't know the guy's name. I guess and I didn't show you the credits. Yeah,
he wasn't in like you don't. He's in like
every Ant-Man movie. Same with the other two, and then, but like he's in the movie. Yeah, so I guess I was angry for no reason.
He appears as Veb. Who's like, I don't even think you see him in the trailer. See Veb in the trailer anywhere. Maybe in the other.
I don't know
trailer.
why they didn't do that because it didn't test well. They should have the laser cannon head guy in the trailer. He was the most badass.
Laser
Even
cannon.
though he probably had no personality, he just had an awesome looking.
He's just really cool. I think he was in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Very
They'll probably
cool.
replace him with another laser head guy later on.
Let me see. He's in the Rotten Tomatoes somewhere.
I felt like he could have been played by like the guy who played what's his name in Rogue One.
I don't even think he has any speaking lines.
He speaks.
The laser cannon head guy. Yeah, here he is. He's in the middle.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. You can't even see the whole cannon thing. It's a circle instead of a sphere. It's
Oh
not a
yeah,
cylinder,
here we see Kajora. I think her name is.
I thought she was Yearly Smith.
Oh really?
Yeah, she reminds me of Yearly Smith. Obviously, she's way too tall to be Yearly Smith.
I don't think she's.
Also, Yearly Smith can't really do action scenes.
I don't think she's really Gentora. I don't even think she's really well known for.
She looks familiar.
Anything. She just maybe has a familiar look. Oh, she's in The Mandalorian.
That's probably why. Yeah, I've seen her
as
as
a
that.
guest,
I think.
as a character.
Yeah.
Unknown guest star.
She has a very unique look though, so like that's probably why I remembered her. I guess she's getting all her roles from Disney. She's played her card really well.
Good box office.
Yeah, she could put that on her resume. 240 million, and like all the viewers on The Mandalorian, which is a really hot show.
Katie M. O'Brien. Yeah.
Oh, the guy from The Good Place. We never talked about that guy.
William Jackson Harper. I was telling you.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about him at all in this review.
I told you. I said he was the telepath.
I don't think we mentioned that in the review, did we?
I mentioned he was in the Rebellion.
I think we mentioned it like off screen, but not on screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and he's like in all these ads now for like all the summer stuff that's coming out. Also,
he's from The Good Place.
That's from Midsommar too. Wow.
Oh, really?
And Patterson. Wow.
Oh, okay.
He's in some big major.
I know him primarily as.
He's in some Facebook ads too.
I know him primarily as Chidi from The Good Place. He's Josh in Midsommar. I know him as Chidi from The Good Place. Very good character.
Oh, person on Avengers, 30 Rock. Wow. He has a very familiar look. Yeah. Oh, I think he's performing on Broadway now or something now. I think also.
Let me see if we can find a GIF of some kind.
Put it in the background. I also was sort of curious if it's probably too late now, but probably in the thumbnail, I'll put like Avengers United They Stand as the thumbnail or something. Why would you rain? Should I find out why he would rain on someone's parade?
What do you mean?
That's what it says in the article that you were just looking at.
Well, which article?
This one right here. It says 37 characters would rain on your parade.
Oh, because like he's always overthinking things.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And like saying like how things are unethical and
he's also a telepath. Remember, also the camera's up here. He's also a telepath, so remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of really good. I don't know. This movie's firing on all cylinders at certain points.
Yeah.
It's got some weaknesses, like I feel like the weak parts are like the inconsistency of like MODOK, and like the storytelling gets uneven, and like, but like I think that's just like a pacing issue from like cramming it to like 2 hours. But like just the fact that it does so many interesting things redeems it, and also sets up a really interesting villain. I think, just like I don't know, it's got so many inventive ideas and like production design.
Universe of villains.
Yeah, the production design is like top notch, like how they set up the quantum universe and stuff. And
one thing I sort of I just want to mention this before like
we should wrap up soon.
Yeah. I didn't like the original Thor because like not enough of it was in Asgard. I feel like this movie has the opposite problem, where it's like all green screen, and like, there's not enough sets, at least from what I've seen, and that like. And maybe this is not even true because like I thought like they got rid of like the original 3 like thief guys. They used a smaller crew, where they actually might have used a bigger crew than I thought. Yeah,
I did see like a YouTube comment on a trailer.
Yeah,
that said like that compared Thor and Ant-Man.
Yeah,
Thor starts off as a serious toned thing, and becomes more comedic over time, whereas like Ant-Man starts off comedic and becomes more serious over time, and like Thor starts off with like, you know, somewhat on Asgard and getting more fantastical.
Yeah.
And then Ant-Man starts off in San Francisco Doesn't even have any Asgard at all, really. There's like a little bit of Quantum Realm stuff, a hint of it, and it does pretty good job of it.
I
But
think
it's like mostly in San Francisco.
I think Thor started off even worse, right? Because like I don't even where they count. I don't even know what state they were in the first episode of Thor.
I don't know. It was like Nevada or something
It's like
or whatever.
it was like Area 51 or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was still in the United States somehow. And it was like it could be anywhere on Earth.
It could have not been on Earth.
Anywhere in the universe, in the galaxy. And it just happened to be in like New Mexico, like 30 miles away from LA or whatever. You know, what have you. Yeah, luckily we can still do location shooting in a day or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like also this is like probably like facing like the fact that MCU movies like
technology is like getting more advanced and everything's getting cheaper, so like they can make these films like indie films like at what it used to cost $300 million now. We're getting to that point eventually.
Yeah, like they have to keep escalating like how much they're spending on these movies in order to keep making the money come in. But like it's reaching a point now where like people don't even know what these movies are about. So like maybe it's gonna like start collapsing in on itself like Solo started to did in the Star Wars franchise or whatever. And like maybe they have to go smaller at the same time. They're like doing TV shows at the same time. They're doing like TV shows that tie into movies, movies that tie into TV shows. Like it's getting complicated now, man. Like
we're turning into like cinematic filming chaos. We went from like Thomas Edison to like super AI generated green screen now or something.
Yeah. But you know, even like Everything Everywhere All at Once did it on a relatively modest budget. A lot of it was just like a lot of like really like smart, you know, working smarter, not harder filming techniques and stuff like that. So like they were able to make like a $14 million movie look like a $50 million movie, that kind of thing. So
I mean, I do wonder, like watching Quantumania now, like are they using what used to be a $300 million budget and make it using technology from now and to do it on a $5 million budget?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like I mean, like it happened in like a I don't know. We could talk forever about this. This is its own topic, but like. I saw a whole YouTube video officially from like a news outlet or something talking about hair in like Disney Animation Studios movies.
And like the grass, like in how much? I remember this whole documentary that is just some grass in like what's it called, Brave, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And like
it's really interesting.
Yeah, they had to like first they were trying to do like a lot of conventional Disney princess hair, where it'd be like really straight and stuff. But then when they had to do something like Brave, where it was like really curly hair, they had to really up the animation technology on like doing like hair extrusions and like bouncing physics and making it like not look like it's like all floppy and stuff like that. And then they had to advance that technology even more for like stuff like Moana and like especially apparently it came to a head in Encanto because like you have all these extras that have curly hair. And all the main characters with like hair and stuff and all these kinds of loops and everything. So like and that you know feeds into like diversity and representation because like a lot of like Caucasian hair tends to be more straight or whatever, and then like more minorities have like curly or frizzy hair or kinky hair or whatever, and then they don't have that. And so they have to so technology actually it leads to more representation and stuff like that. So that's another way that technology can advance, not just in terms of like big budget spectacles and visuals, but also in terms of representation and not just fantasy, but also just you know accessibility and having more people seeing themselves in films and stuff. Hopefully, we can have more of that kind of innovation come in films in the MCU, which we've kind of seen a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll end on some note like that or something.
Yeah, I mean it's just hair, it's just grass. Like it doesn't replace the story.
Yeah, it doesn't replace...
Like, it's like what George Lucas said. Like, a special effect is just a special effect.
Yeah, it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, if you don't have the means to have it, you know, sometimes it's just... I mean, like, sometimes people are willing to just, like, you know, lean on, like, having characters, like...
I think that's probably why in, like, Resident Evil, they have, like, Carlos Oliveira and stuff with, like, his, like, frizzy hair and stuff also.
Yeah. People are afraid to, like... you know, rock the boat and stuff like that. All right. Anyway, I'm getting tired. This is going on for a while.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Check out Ant-Man. It's good. It's fun to talk about.
Yeah, what he said before is all right. Yeah.
I'd be willing to talk about it.
I agree. Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? Like, which aspect of it?
Has all these major things, like great production values.
It's doing a lot. It's great production value, great visuals, creative world building, like really inventive ideas. Sets up things on a micro scale, sets up things on a macro scale, sets up things for the future of the MCU. It's probably going to make a lot of things make more sense in future MCU things if you watch this. But like, you know, that's the kind of brilliance, but also the kind of like sinister nature of like MCU things is that, oh, but you have to watch this movie in order to really understand.
It did sort of make me look forward to seeing Wasp 3, Ironheart, and all those folks in their own Avengers film.
Yeah. I feel like this has me hyped for like future MCU movies and stuff. Like it's in good hands. A lot of the Phase 4 stuff is like doing a lot of interesting ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's like some of their most interesting stuff yet. But of course, like there's always going to be the Marvel fans who are like, nah, I liked it back in the day when it was just, you know, Iron Man and Captain America and real men and all that and stuff like that. And, you know, those people are going to be out of date in like, you know, 30 years or whatever.
Yeah, you got to think 30 years ahead, yeah.
Yeah. This is the future, and you got to, if you want to keep up with the times, you got to keep up with Marvel, who's like leading the times and not even leading the times that much. This isn't even like that big a deal.
Yeah, it's really not that far ahead.
It's really not even that far ahead, but still too far ahead for some people already.
Yeah, like...
Wow, Iron Man is a black girl in high school or whatever? Like, in college?
Ivy League.
In Ivy League college?
Yeah.
Wow, that's not right. Like, I don't know, like, it's you gotta keep up with the times. Like, superheroes should represent, you know, the people in the world, so... Yeah, anyway. I don't know, getting on the pedestal, but... Anyway, we have cool villains, we have cool heroes. It's a good movie.
And occasionally you have MODOK want to be an Avenger and everyone yelling, "Don't be a dick! Don't be a dick!"
Yeah, they brought him back for a little bit, and they, you know, he's no longer in the series anymore because he ended this movie. But whatever. I don't even think they even answered exactly what happened to him, how he became MODOK exactly. But I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, it's an interesting movie. A lot of fun.
PRpHD out.
Happy watching, folks.
Happy watching.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.